violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, cyberspace? It's a Black Gen Z mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Other stories we've been tracking for you this Saturday. One man is in critical condition after being shot while in a car. Just before 8 this morning, DeKalb County Police responded to Boulder Crest Lane near...
What I tell you guys about DeKalb County in Boulder Crest Lane, this is actually where Gucci Mane is from, okay? As you guys may know, if you listen to Gucci's music, he always shouts out Boulder Crest and whatnot. It's going down. DeKalb County is very dangerous. You have a mass exodus going on, or should I say a white flight going on in DeKalb County. And hell, I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Get up out of there, save yourselves, save your family, because these super gremlins are on demon time.
The I-285 perimeter. Police have only described the victim as a man in his 20s. He suffered a single gunshot wound. They add 2 suspects shot at the victim before driving away. Police have not released an ID for the victim or the suspect.
Police in DeKalb County say a man was chased down and shot multiple times this morning. The call came in just after 8 a.m. on Candler Road, just north of the interchange with I-20.
Okay, so now this is also DeKalb County off of, she pronounced it wrong. It's actually Campbellton Road. Very dangerous street, a lot of crime. Super gremlins hanging out outside of the gas station, hanging out at the bus stop, but not boarding the buses, things like that. It's super dangerous. I was actually on Campbellton Road 2 weeks ago because I was looking at a house, and I mean, this guy, he's completely out of his mind. He wants like $320,000 for, I mean, it's essentially a hoarder house. But anyways, like I said, people are leaving, and this guy was a brother, and he actually went to the University of Auburn, and now he's starting to read the writing on the wall and say, hey, it may not be the safest thing to live in the community. And on the exterior, his house is beautiful. It's a brick house all the way around, large. I think it's like 2,300 square feet, but he's ready to get up on out of with a basement too. So that square footage is not including the basement, but he's ready to get up on out of there because of how dangerous it is. Gunshots every night. Of course, he didn't tell me that because he's trying to sell me the home, so he wants to sell it, right? But I already know how this thing goes down. So, it comes to a waiting game, especially when you're purchasing real estate in a war zone. And I know this isn't a real estate podcast, and if you guys want more financial advice, I am going to start posting on my financial YouTube, Real Hungry Investor, The Real Hungry Investor. I'm going to start posting on that starting in 2023 because I just want to give you guys a well-rounded idea of kind of what I do, because I'm not just Jinquavious, all right? I do other things outside of this, and just kind of want you guys to understand me, my personality, my humor, and the decisions that I'm making to further not only myself but my family in the future. But yeah, very dangerous indicator, Campbellton Road, hotspot, war zone as we like to call it. And people are starting to catch on, but it's only a matter of time before we really start seeing the community starting to speak up about these violent acts that are being committed on a daily basis.
Once officers arrived, they found a 43-year-old man had been killed. An initial investigation found that victim was walking down Candler Road when someone, quote, chased him down and shot him multiple times before making an escape. Police have not yet told us if they have a suspect in the case.
Killed a man who was walking along a road in DeKalb County. Officers responded to the 2400 block of Candler Road in Decatur. It happened near a Chevron station there just after 8 o'clock this morning. Police telling us someone chased down a 43-year-old man and shot.
Okay, so it was Candler Road, not Campbellton. Okay. My mistake.
Shot him several times. He died at the scene. The suspect got away.
Convicted felon facing a sweeping gang indictment is back in jail tonight. Police say he got into a gun battle outside a gas station. Channel 2's Michael Seiden is live outside Atlanta Police Headquarters. And Michael, your sources told you this guy should not have been out of jail in the first place.
And that's what's happening. The Atlanta courts are backed up. I already told you guys about that ticket that I received months ago, and it still isn't even. I hired a lawyer to resolve it and all that kind of stuff, and it still isn't even in the court systems yet. It's so crazy. Like I'm calling my lawyer every day to get the ticket resolved, and they're just like, oh, well, you know, it hasn't showed up in the system. Boom, boom, bap. So, I mean, there's just so much incompetence going on in the city of Atlanta. It's only a matter of time before, you know, something horrible actually happens.
And Linda, a lot of investigators really frustrated, especially when you consider this convicted felon's violent criminal history. And this is all coming after he was arrested overnight after a wild and crazy shooting outside a gas station in southeast Atlanta. He is a convicted felon, and tonight Marquise Brinkley is back behind bars facing numerous felony charges after police say he shot and injured another man during a gunfight outside this gas station in southeast Atlanta earlier this month.
And see, I told you guys about the gas stations. You know, you have water boys posted up at the gas stations, middle-aged brothers posted up at the gas station, and usually they're pretty much up to no good. Pretty much up to no good. It's not okay at all. And you know, these business owners, they pretty much got their hands tied because they can't do anything about it. Otherwise, these dudes will come back and spin the block in the middle of the night and destroy their business.
Witnesses say bullets went flying through the parking lot, striking a car and narrowly missing a 3-year-old child and adult inside.
To me, it's wild. I'm really tired of Atlanta and the gun violence. Like,
That man said he tired of the A.
we're definitely with the kids. Like, people shouldn't be doing that. We just want to enjoy life.
But a review of Brinkley's extensive criminal record has many asking why the 29-year-old was out of jail in the first place.
And the reason why is because of the defund the police movement, the bail reform movement, the criminal justice reform movement that swept across the whole country in 2020. That's the main reason why this brother was released. Like I said, there's so much incompetence in the courts of Atlanta. And then Keisha Lance Bottoms actually pushed a bill that pretty much didn't require people who received misdemeanor charges to show up to court. And then what do you know? Now they can't even find these people. I think the number was 85% of the people who received misdemeanor charges did not show up to court. And there's no way for them to be penalized or held accountable. So, you know, if you can get away with the little things, you can get away with the big things.
After at least a dozen trips to the Fulton County Jail over the last several years. We also found this sweeping DeKalb County grand jury indictment naming 7 defendants, including Brinkley, who are facing charges of violating the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, as well as conspiracy to commit trafficking in heroin. Despite his violent criminal history, a judge still set his bond at $35,000. We've decided not to identify the judge because we want to be fair and give her at least 24 hours to respond. We also reached out to the DeKalb County District Attorney Sheriff.
And who's putting money on the judge as a sister? You know, when I say sisters, come get your kids. It doesn't just apply to the sisters who have kids. It applies to these sisters who are in positions of power because they almost coddle these super gremlins as if they are their kids.
Mary Boston and a spokeswoman told us the state opposed bond for this defendant. The court granted bond over the state's objections.
Told you, incompetence in the courts.
Guys, and Brinkley's actually scheduled to make his first court appearance tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Now, we're unsure if he's being represented right now, but in his criminal indictment in DeKalb County, he's actually represented by criminal defense attorney Bruce Harvey. I reached out to his office, but I have not heard back yet. We are live in downtown Atlanta. Michael Seiden, Channel 2 Action News.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe, hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more do you want from me?
With each shooting involving teens in Atlanta, the calls for solutions not only continue, but intensify.
Calls for solutions. I guess you guys have not been watching my channel, partly because I am shadow banned and YouTube has demonetized me, and the social media oligarchs are working comprehensively to make sure that my message from all of my channels is not received by the general public or the masses. However, there are no solutions, okay? And there are no solutions, not saying that there's no policy or implementation that can be done to correct this situation, because there are. The issue is the people, the communitas specifically, and the white liberals, of course, are not going to allow whatever policies that are needed to resolve this issue to be passed, to be pushed, to even be presented. You see how much pushback there is from the city of Buckhead trying to secede from the city of Atlanta, and that is just a testament to the community not wanting to solve the problem and feeling like, hey, you know, we're good as is.
11 Alive's Karis Belger talked with community members about the issue.
But these children are shooting guns at each other, and that's the saddest thing.
Gwen Smith says she was saddened to hear about the shooting near her complex that left 2 teens dead and 3 more children in the hospital.
And I pray that...
Here we go. I pray. Look, I'm telling you right now, your prayers are not going to stop the super gremlins, respectfully, okay? You know, in this case... Another follow-up question is, who'd you vote for? Were you chanting defund the police? Were you supporting the BLM movement? Because all of this is just a chain reaction from the 2020 riots.
Our children will take heed and find better solutions when they get upset.
Saturday night shooting at the retreat at Greenbrier Apartments has joined a growing list of gun-related incidents that's led to the deaths of teens in metro Atlanta. Bruce Griggs is a community activist and the founder of Operation Correct Start, Inc. He says combating teen violence will require new solutions.
It is a disease. We've got to start attacking this as a public health issue.
Yeah, and the first thing that we can do is, hey, you know, maybe your kids shouldn't be listening to NBA Youngboy at the age of 3 years old. It goes down to what's happening in these homes. A lot of these kids are being groomed to become these violent, vile, heartless super gremlins on demon time. And that is because there's heavy indoctrination from the beginning of their childhood into their teen years and their adulthood. and it's hard to shake that. So especially when your mom is raising you like the deadbeat dad that left her.
Griggs says there's more likelihood of these incidents with children being out of school for the holidays.
A lot of people look at the holidays as a joyful time, a time of giving, happiness. But a lot of these kids that I deal with, it's not that cool to not have to go to school, because for some of these young people, school is the only safe haven they have. School is the only place that they get a well-balanced meal. It's that important for them.
Like Griggs, Smith says more community intervention will be needed to prevent more tragedy.
We don't need the war in the community, and especially our children.
Karis Belger, 11 Alive News.
Even a holiday event today in Southwest Atlanta focused on the violence involving Atlanta's children. A tree decorating at Assembly of Truth Ministry near the campus of Spelman College served as a memorial for children killed in Georgia due to gun violence. Ornaments were created with each youth's name on it, and they were placed on the tree as each one's name was called. In his statement today, Mayor Dickens also said gun violence is the leading cause of death for adolescents in the United States.
And I covered that story before. It's Mayor Andre Dickens is, yes, repeating this statistic, which has been a big issue even since the beginning of this year and late 2021. I've done multiple stories. If you guys want to go back to my catalog, which I do advise before YouTube takes all of my videos down and deletes my channel in totality. But you guys really need to go back into my catalog and see, just how on point I've been since the beginning of my journey on YouTube.
A recent study published through Emory University backs up his claim, finding 1 in 5 adolescent deaths are now caused by guns. And the study's researchers say the numbers, unfortunately, continue to go upward.
And think about that. If the community was open to real solutions like locking these super gremlins up and throwing away the key for these violent criminals, and another suggestion that one of my subscribers makes, I think his name is Nunya, but he always, puts in every comment, why don't we suggest, or it's either Nunya or Natty Wit, but he's like, oh, why don't we suggest sterilizing violent idiots? And I 100% agree. These people should not be able to reproduce at this point. Okay, when you're out here, you're capping people. Even if you look at the Young Thug case and whatnot, with the YSL RICO indictment, one of the guys who just turned state witness, DK, along with Gunna, who actually did snitch, and people were saying, oh, he didn't snitch, Yeah, yes, he did. But it's a super gremlin by the name of DK, and he actually was imprisoned for shooting another black man in the head and basically deformed his skull to where like half of his skull is just like gone. And Buddy grew dreads, and he's putting the dreads over his empty skull. But DK, this guy is back out again, and he just made another deal with the prosecutors, pled guilty to starting the YSL gang, and the way that he's been able to stay on the streets is just by telling on people. But the thing is, when he goes back into the streets, he's still considered a big dog in the streets, even though he snitched. So a lot of these super gremlins will tell you to abide by the street code, but they don't even abide by it because they're welcoming with open arms, guys who are telling.
If you look at trends over the last 40 years, you'll see that the curves kind of cross between motor vehicle collisions and firearm injuries. At one time, firearm injuries were the third cause of death in children. And then somewhere around the mid last decade, they became the second. And as of 2019, they became number 1. So this is something that we've been noticing as a trend that's been increasing over the last few years.
And we'll continue to bring you the latest on this story.
Oh, yeah, and something that she didn't mention, most of those deaths are coming from the community. Okay? The fact that you have these heavy statistics, 1 in 5 children, or the leading cause of death for children is gun violence, and then, or, super gremlins on demon time, and then 1 in 5, kids dying from, super gremlins on demon time. So you have these staggering statistics, and the reality is most of those deaths are coming from the community. It's not coming from, the white community. It's not coming from, even, sometimes, yes, but majority, it's not even coming from the Latino community. It's coming from the community. And that just goes to show that not only are our kids susceptible to the termination of their life by, weapons and other super gremlins, but they're also susceptible to the termination of their life and existence in the womb of the sisters who, are indiscriminately having children and indiscriminately aborting the children. So I don't know. It's a weird dynamic going on in the community. Obviously, this is in my opinion, it's a structured, intended result from, the movements that we've seen recently when it comes to what the leftists are pushing, and just this fake civil rights movement that just went down in 2022 or 2020. It's all a facade. It's so crazy.
To stay connected, head over to 11alive.com.
Finally have some new at 6. The families of 2 up-and-coming rappers killed inside an Atlanta nightclub finally have some closure. A jury awarded them $160 million.
Wow.
Because the club, they say, did not have enough security.
So these up-and-coming rappers were shot and killed in a club in Atlanta, and now the family is awarded $160 million. So instead of holding the super gremlins who did this accountable, it's just a money grab. And I'm not saying that the family shouldn't get paid. $160 million, I think that number is super overinflated.
Channel 2's Taisha Fernandez is live in downtown Atlanta. And Ty, you have been following this situation for the last 5 years. Today, you worked to get reaction from the family.
Linda, yes, Linda, and I remember standing right here 5 years ago watching the victims' families place candles in front of the Masquerade Club, wondering how their loved ones were shot to death in a club that was supposed.
And shout out to Masquerade. I've actually been to Masquerade, done a performance at Masquerade. Definitely a hood vibe, but shout out to them.
Supposed to check everyone for guns.
You cannot put a price on human life.
The families of Ewell Ynoa and Giovanni Diaz have been fighting for justice since the 2 up-and-coming rappers were murdered inside this club, Masquerade at Underground Atlanta, 5 years ago. The shooter, Jonathan Bautista, is now serving 40 years in prison. But the victims' families did not stop there.
So there we have it. I mean, we actually have
Did not stop.
We have a burrito gremlin who aired out the club. Wow. I mean, I'm telling you guys, these burrito gremlins are on demon time.
There. They said all along the club did not have proper security and didn't check club goers for weapons at the door. So they sued the club, but they also sued Sony Music Holdings.
The ones that hosted the event, it was their artists also helped with the, providing and hiring of security.
On
So wow, they're suing Sony. They're suing Sony, guys, and they won. This is absolutely insane. And Sony got the bread for sure, but this is definitely a L, okay? But see how the music industry is so directly tied and directly connected to the deaths of these young brothers and hombritos in the comunidad and the comunitino. I mean, and I just did the debate with the young African immigrant, and he's saying hip hop has no correlation, no effect on the murders going down, in the community. And then you literally have a situation where Sony Music Group, or Sony Music Holdings rather, is being sued by a family for the wrongful death of their loved one, because they were hosting an event to find more talent, more people who were, spitting murder bars in Atlanta.
Thursday, in a civil suit against Sony, a jury awarded each family $80 million for the wrongful death of Ewell, known as Wells, and Giovanni, known as Gio. The families don't think they'll ever see the $160 million because they said Sony never even showed up to any of the court hearings.
Wow, so that's a default judgment. So obviously Sony doesn't even care about the lives that are taken in the black and brown community in Comunitino. They don't care. This shows you they don't care. They didn't send a representative. They didn't even send their legal team. They said, yeah, we probably messed up. Whatever the court rules, it is what it is. We'll just start another Sony Music holding a Jace and then file for bankruptcy with this company. I mean, it's a racket, guys. And if you don't wake up, if you keep trying to, get in cahoots with the evil music industry and these evil record labels, specifically like Sony Music Holdings and even UMG and other record labels, then you're gonna end up doing a deal with the devil, and it might cost you your life.
It just shows that some people don't really care.
For the last 5 years, the families have traveled to Atlanta from New York and Florida for candlelight vigils and court hearings. They're relieved that part of this is over. They hope other nightclubs in Metro Atlanta learn from their tragedies.
And this was 5 years ago. I guarantee they have not learned.
Every club where it's going to be in a big event with hundreds of people or, any amount of people, there should be...
I mean, it's not even about the hundreds of people. It's the hundreds of super gremlins on demon time. Or burrito gremlins on demon time.
Metal detectors and high security systems that will show if someone brings in a weapon, knife, or a gun. Because there's going to be people drinking and having fun, and, liquor can lead to a lot of things happening,
Blame it on the alcohol. Yeah, likely excuse. Let's just ignore the elephant in the room.
Today I reached out to Sony to get a comment on not showing up in court and to get a comment on the $160 million settlement. I did not hear back.
Of course.
We're live downtown Atlanta outside Masquerade Club in underground Atlanta. Taisha Fernandez, Channel 2 Action News.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, in school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.